I always was with kids and coaching and everything and teaching. I learned so much about human performance and teaching and the importance of the collective. So I've been coaching for about 19 years, but I started giving coach education workshops, and I was trying to explain to people that it's just not about how fast they can go out and back or how much we can roll or whatever. And I kept trying to explain it deeply to would-be coaches, people that were great people that probably just couldn't see it as deeply as I thought it needed to be seen. So I just said, I'm going to have to write a book about this. And I started, and I tried to write about an analogy about teaching and coaching is about bringing out the best in people. That's all it is. Whatever means, tools you can use to bring out the best. So the Latin for education is educare, which means to draw out or to lead. So, methods are so many, like it doesn't matter how we do it once we bring out the best in people. So that analogy or that drawing out, I heard a quote one day. I really like quotes. They just put things into my head. Words create images for me, and it was from Michelangelo about the angel David. And he said, I saw this angel in the stone and I carved until I set him free. And I said, Jesus, that's class. And I said, that's really important. So we will rock a stone, and next thing we put out a sculpture. Wow. So then I remember telling my late father, I have this thing in my head. It's Carver or it's Carver. So eventually, anyways, I settled on Carver, and there was six elements to Carver which I just dropped in, and then I started dropping everything around it, and then this book kind of came. So this is not a book of answers, it's just a book of questions. That's all it is an aid to being the best you can be, because there are no answers. So I'm just going to go through the elements, and thanks for your attention, but I like to talk about this. So the connection is the first one. Now in each element there's about 6, 8, 10 elements, but the first one is the interpersonal connection. So I do a lot of one-off coaching sessions with kids and different people, and I really don't feel I do well in them because I don't know them. And if you don't know them, they don't get you, you don't get them. These boys here know me, so I can do loads, I can interact with them at a different level because I know them. So that's the first thing. How can we connect interpersonally? And then if we look at a team, how can we connect the team? Because unity is savage. The power of the collective is something that fascinates me. So we need to build a brand or whatever and have values and different things, but how can we do that? So connect the team. And then I always say, when you're dealing with people, you have to paint, or young kids, you have to paint the future so they can have aspirations to what they want to achieve. So I always connect them to the future in the game. And I'm always saying, to our lads in Carver, like in 10 years' time when I'm standing up and when I'm sitting on that stand, I've got to connect them to their future because it inspired them. The next connection, or how we connect with parents, and all we can do is try and love the kids, and that will take care of itself. So we connect with parents as best we can, and then we connect with our management team, and then we connect all the elements we do in training back to the game, because that drives our application to it. If we're doing something, there must be a reason why. And then every session, we must connect one session to another. We must connect with different organizations. That's connection, and it's a full chapter. Then awareness is the second one. So we have coach awareness. So I didn't understand coaching until a couple of wow moments. I won't go into them, they're in the book, and it was like, geez, man, how powerful is this? So the first thing we must be aware of in coaching is the power, potential, and scope of coaching. And if it was done really well, what would it look like? The next thing being, if I'm coaching, I must have huge self-awareness of why am I there, what does it feel like to be coached by me, blah, blah, blah. All them questions, so it's just questions. So we have role, and then what's the role, and then all we're trying to do, my definition of coaching is raising awareness through challenging the system appropriate. All we're trying to do is create a sense of self-awareness in the child so that they go out and practice and play. And there's 3 awarenesses. In-game awareness, which is decision-making, of-game awareness, which is kind of all the rules and the principles and all that kind of stuff, and then the self-awareness. So we're trying to get everyone to be the best they can be, so if we can drive that self-awareness, that's great. Then R is just research. What are the needs of the child, what are the characteristics of the child, what are the behaviours of the child, and all them different things, and the role of consistency in learning, and the role of mistakes. And then we go into the player, which is more the mindset, the physical qualities they need, to layer upon the technical qualities and to bring that into a kind of a game, and to provide them principles which to play the game, and then their lifestyle is important too. And then we go to V, which are values, and the values we kind of have, we try and transmit them as much as we can. So mine are very simple: respect, effort, and fun. It spells worth. If we, respect each other and all that, and respect the game and everything, we work well. The effort is all. I always say, just judge effort. Judge effort first, everything will follow. And then fun, because it has to be fun. So even if we get the best session in the world ever, and if it wasn't fun, it's no good. And then the visions, which are basically the most important thing. So you got to start with the end in sight. So what would the player look like? What should the player look like, Chelsea? What's the vision for the player? B? He doesn't know. Well, it's water. So Bruce Lee says water can flow and it can crash, because adaptability in sport is really important. And it can freeze and thaw, and you can put water in the teacup and it can become the teacup. So I think of water. And then we need a vision for ourselves. What do we look like? What should I be like as a coach? And for me, I want to be positively different. I used to say different, but then I had to say positively different. And I want to bring belief and spread awareness. Then we need a vision for the team, what they look like, the team, and we need a load more visions. There's about 8 in it. And then we come to a thing called endorsing, which is basically being positive. But it's not being kind of token positive. It's saying, I love the way Connor is looking at me there. Thanks, Connor. I know all the boys are sitting up straight. That's excellent. So there's a thing in your brain, what I understand in language, it's called the reticular activating system. And what it does, I understand, because I'm not a scientist, is that it makes you see things you value. Luke is asleep. Yeah, Luke. It makes you see things you value. So if I value effort and respect and fun, and if I understand the game and the technical qualities, well then all I really do is see them. Because I'm looking at it through a scope, or a number of scopes or lenses. And then all I have to do is, when I see it, all I have to do is say it. I love the way you moved your feet, I love the way you did that. So it's about being very specific. And I needed an E in the Carver method, so endorsing was that word. And then the final vision would be the vision for a session, to plan it out and all that, little things. So everything leads up to that's the V, we forgot that vision, don't we? Endorsing. And then the R is reflection. So we all have really great aspirations. Like, there's no man ever set out to do wrong, really, But if we build this world and we've got values and visions and we want to connect and we want to do all these things and we want to be this person, but how can we drive accountability? So what I used to do is I used to mark myself out of 10 on all the different elements of the Carver method, and I used to grade my session. So the first time I ever did it, I remember I was 52. So that would drive my self-awareness. Did I connect? Did I do all these different questions? And then I used to say, I will start, stop, and continue. And it was that reflective plan, do, review that I thought was the only way to improve. So I was saying, you plan your work your plan, and then reflect on your plan and your work. And it was that cycle. And that's kind of it. So the Carver framework is a set of lenses to view how you want to coach and who you want to be. And then the process allows you to reflect, for congruence. Like, we need congruence. And it doesn't mean, the big thing for me is it's not so perfect, because there's people on there that say, geez, what's this that on? Because he thinks to me that we all make huge mistakes, but how can we just get better at getting better? Really? That's the fine point of what I'm trying to get. So I really hope, I put my heart and soul into that book. That's all I have. And it came at a human cost, because, the struggle, it was a long, and I packed it in so many times. But I put it together at the end. And the thing I'm going to end with now is, you're kind of reflecting all the time. But I always talk about relearning, because everybody knows nearly everything. There's no big secrets out there. But do we know what we're learning? Or relearning, I call it. So I know this is important, but I forget. And then someday it pops up into my head again. For me, what I relearned in the last period writing the book was the power of support and the power of encouragement. And I'm not going to thank anyone individually, but there was times when I was giving up and people said, stick at it. There was, you got the phone call, there was so many times when people supported you. And what I've learned as a coach in the last month or two really is the power of support. It's huge. To see good or whatever and to say stick at it. So I thank the people that encouraged me and supported me in the last while, because it was a struggle. And I wrote on a lot of the books today that the struggle is the pathway, because there is no other way. So I don't know, is that okay? If anyone has any questions, I'll talk all day and all night about coaching.